Today, our topic of discussion is Poland and its geopolitical position. Over the past 2 decades, Poland has become one of the most important countries in Europe. With the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, it is more important than ever to understand Poland's unique geopolitical position. The core of Poland's geopolitical thinking is shaped by its geography and its history. Poland is situated on the North European plains, between the Baltic Sea in the north and the Carpathian Mountains in the south, thereby leaving it completely vulnerable in its eastern and western sectors to the Russians and the Germans respectively, while its ocean access through the Baltic Sea is at the mercy of the Swedes. The consequence of Poland's geography has led it to balance its interest between the Swedes and Danes in the north, the Germans in the west, and the Russians in the east. With no natural barriers east or west, Poland is a country of historic vulnerability to more powerful neighbors. When Charles XII of Sweden invaded Russia, he did so via Poland. Napoleon did the same by amassing his armies on the Vistula before advancing east. When the Imperial German army and the Russian Empire clashed in the First World War, it was in Poland. The first shots of World War II were fired in Gdansk as Hitler's Germany moved to secure its eastern flank against the Russians. During the Cold War, Poland was a jealously guarded addition to the Soviet sphere of influence because Moscow knew it was the avenue by which Western leaders habitually invaded the motherland. The original Polish state that existed until the end of the 18th century was the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It was formed by a union between the Kingdom of Poland and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, both of which extended far beyond the modern borders of Poland and Lithuania and included Latvia, Belarus, and much of Ukraine. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was for a long time one of the most powerful states in Europe. However, in the late 18th century, Poland was attacked and defeated by a coordinated Russian, Prussian, and Austrian offensive. Poland as a state ceased to exist for over 100 years, only gaining its independence in the early 1900s. However, the independence would be short-lived, and it would be subject to another de facto partition between Nazi Germany and Soviet Union in 1939. Poland lost nearly 20% of its population in World War II, a percentage that is higher than any other sovereign state. Almost its entire Jewish population was killed by the Nazis, much of its political and military elite were executed by the Soviets, and over 1 million Poles were slaughtered by both. Poland's border after the war were moved several hundreds kilometers westwards, completely changing its demography and geography. For the next 45 years, Poland was a Soviet satellite state. This experience of partition, mass slaughter, and loss of independence throughout history has been instrumental in shaping modern Polish geopolitical thinking. The country's overarching foreign policy goal since independence has been Euro-Atlantic integration, that is, joining the European Union and NATO and integrating itself with the Western powers. This goal was born out of a legitimate security concern and a strong economic impetus. NATO and EU membership has obviously been a massive step towards protecting Polish sovereignty and has removed Germany as a potential threat. But from Poland's perspective, it is not protected against Russian aggression from east. Despite NATO membership, Poland and by extension the East European countries were always aware of the lack of appetite of its Western counterparts to take on Russia, a belief that has been validated by the current Ukraine war. Therefore, to bolster its position, Poland has increasingly allied itself with the biggest power of the day, that is, the United States. Poland has sent over 40,000 troops to fight alongside US troops in Iraq and Afghanistan with hope that it would show that it is a strong and committed ally. This illustrates how Poland views NATO as largely an alliance with the United States, more so than Europe. Poland has in recent years sought cooperation with the United States outside the bounds of NATO, a key example of it being the failed proposal to establish US military base in Polish soil. Poland's security has become more and more intertwined with the United States and the deterrence its military power represents. Having dealt with the past, it's time to approach the future and Poland's potential. Poland nowadays is the sixth largest economy in the EU, garnering massive investment. The standards of living has more than doubled between 1989 and 2012. Poland has taken advantage of the EU membership and ensured a great deal of political stability for itself. This stability has triggered the long path for the economic development of Poland. The Polish economy is the only one in Europe to have achieved constant growth despite economic crises. A large part of German export machine is now based in Poland. Poland offers Germany a friendly business climate, plenty of skilled labor, and above all, proximity. And in return, Poland gets German investment and markets for its goods. A recent Morgan Stanley report estimated that 30 to 40% of Poland's exports to Germany now end up as German exports to the rest of the world. This interdependence explains why Germany is by far Poland's largest trading partner, buying or selling 25% of Poland's exports and imports, which totals about 12% of Poland's overall economy. In the last decade, EU has invested billions of euros in Polish infrastructure, from building state-of-the-art highways, renovating decrepit train lines, putting in broadband infrastructure, and so on. In the wake of Russian invasion of Ukraine, Poland has embarked on the largest procurement of conventional American weapons in history. In March, Warsaw signed off on $4.7 billion worth of Patriot missiles, bolstering the nation's anti-missile defense capability, which was quickly followed by the country's largest ever tank purchase, ordering 250 M1 Abrams from the United States, and more importantly, a large number of HIMARS. The US has not been the only beneficiary of Poland's buying spree. Purchases from South Korea includes over 500 K2 battle tanks, over 40 F-50 light combat aircraft, over 1400 infantry fighting vehicles, and over 600 K9 self-propelled howitzers. Poland has also stated that it will increase its active duty forces to 400,000 and defense budget to 3% of the nation's GDP. As a conclusion, I can say that the future of Poland is very bright, and I can't wait to see what place it will fill in the future of global geopolitics.